My mission standing here before you is to take up the conversation about, so what do we do? There was some really wonderful content just shared about as a parent in Iron Gamble in Parkway South. My children are growing, but not launched. Another conversation. Yeah. The intimacy of this is part of what we wanted to really present tonight. Our community has been challenged with teenagers and young adults using drugs for a long time. Maybe as a culture, we've actually had a little bit of issue fatigue around this. It's been so constant for so long. But this one is really, really frightening. And it calls us to attention, I think, on a number of levels. On the left side of your folder, is a call to action. And it's more of a narrative than the slide that I'm going to come to next. There was every pun intended when I created this slide that how we got here prescribes what we need to do. I don't have the time, and it's fine, to give you the full narrative. If you're a reader and you like really interesting, however tragic stories, the book Dreamland is a good read. Written by a journalist, it chronicles the essential repeat of the malfeasance perpetrated by the tobacco industry. Surely you're familiar with that. The deceit, the lies, the misrepresentation. Purdue Pharma, amongst others, perpetrated almost to the letter the exact same kind of behaviors about opiate medications. And indulged or really just invaded the medical community with misinformation. And in that context, pain regulation, pain management became really the next vital sign. And physicians and hospitals became accountable to managing pain as a function of patient evaluation. So all the motives around treating pain and the injuries with which that's associated became pretty convoluted. The author here does a wonderful job of portraying all that. So if you're a reader of the book Dreamland, I would recommend it. It's the call to action, though, that I want to take the time to spend a little bit of time with. There are several sections in it, and I just want to call you to them real quickly, because there are really important things to go home and do. Number one, have children, neighbors, colleagues, relatives, have the conversation. It's easy, it's awkward, right? And it's easy to think that everybody knows these things. When do we think about this stuff unless we come to a town hall meeting? As the leader of a community collaborative, really working to change the dynamics of our community to reduce rates of youth substance abuse, one of the challenges we have is that people don't think about healthcare until they need it. And in this context, that's too late. So we're really about changing the mindset. So start that, having the conversation, sharing materials. Copies of things, let me know. We can get you copies. But maybe it's just more about the passing comments that you make as you're watching the soccer practice or having lunch with a friend or what have you. And maybe you repeat those things. We kind of need to step out of a comfort zone about boundaries. We're way too bounded now. The context of technology is ranging from air conditioning to screens of all kinds. It leaves us less with each other than we've ever been. And that is one of the weak links in our community chain, that this horror of addiction really kind of thrives with it. So let's have the conversation. And really not just once. Someone asked me, in fact, before we started tonight, Channel 4 showed up. I'm the father of the bride getting ready for the party, and the guy shows up with a tripod and a camera. Can we talk? Sure, okay. And he asked me, he said, so you think these kinds of events do a good job? And I said, not without action beyond it. It's what people do when they leave. On any front. It's true about any issue. So what can we do when we leave? Well, it was already touched upon, I think Casey and some others. We need to be, Amy, be good consumers with our physicians. I want you to trust your doctor. But I also want you to ask questions. I'll say this to you later. I want you to Google these items. There are lots of websites that are kooky, but there are lots of them that come from the National Institutes of Health, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. There are some very valid places with very user-friendly, accessible information. We need to be trusting, but we need to be informed. Okay? So let's do the homework and be good consumers. And if they're offering 30 days worth of an opiate medication, maybe ask them if you can just have 10. And going to check back. It's reasonable, and physicians like having knowledgeable patients. So being a good consumer. How we store the stuff in our house is a big deal. Right? Probably a number of you, like me, have a variety of what I call middle-age maintenance medications. Right? And it's a daily ritual, and so we like to have them convenient. I'm not asking you to consider the storage of your blood pressure medicine, albeit that's not without consideration. When we have these narcotics in our home, the purchase of a lockbox, or if you have a safe, a place that is not only just unseen or out of sight, but also not easily accessed. There are other psychotropic medications. Maybe you have a child with ADHD. Psychostimulants are often popular. They may not be as dangerous as the opiates. But nonetheless, how we store things is a big deal. How do we get rid of them? We have sample bags of a product called the doTERRA drug disposal kit. You're welcome to take several. These were given to us. doTERRA is a product that you can take home. It's a little more than just activated charcoal, but that's the essential point. You can put the drugs in, add water, let it set. They're useless, and you can throw them away. Very safe. If you have more medications, maybe you have an aging parent or some other circumstance, and I've got a lot of this stuff I need to get rid of. Baldwin, Manchester, both have, I'm going to forget somebody, 24-hour drop boxes, county police in Valley Park as well. And then twice a year, you've heard these referred to, I think, earlier, are medication take-backs. Every police station in our region participates. This next one is April 29th on 10/2. Have you gone through the medicine cabinet lately? You might be stunned at the ghosts that live back in the back. All of that can be removed and taken safely, and law enforcement agencies in combination with the DEA take care of the proper incineration. So having the conversation and being a good consumer, and keeping the stuff safe in our house and getting it out of the house when it's no longer. And this isn't just about our families, albeit that's the obvious place. It's a safety net at a level of community. Even if even if in your heart you are clear that your child isn't involved or wouldn't be or won't be involved. That's not an argument I'd ever have. But I'd still like you to keep your stuff stored safely. I'd still like you to get rid of it safely. So I'm saying, every home on the block is part of a net that catches some person that falls through. The last thing I want to talk about is if you see something, say something. And the CADA is one of our very important partners, and for the last couple of Super Bowls, they've done some pretty provocative ads. Some of you probably have seen them. Last year, they did an ad it was filmed actually, Lafayette High School community. And it focused on this dumb cheerleader who became enslaved with opiate addiction. And if you remember the ad, there was a scene towards the end in which this young woman who starts out, of course, beautiful in the cheerleader outfit and now is just beat from the disease. She gets out of this SUV and she stumbles into the street and it's presented as a neighborhood. And what struck me as important about this is that there's nobody in the background. No one around, anywhere. How much of that is so common in our neighborhood? We're all inside. We're busy. Even if we see something that makes us uncomfortable, we are more likely out of that discomfort to step back and pull away. I'm asking you to go home tonight, and if you have a neighbor or a friend or a loved one about your stomach's a little raw about it, you're not quite sure, I'm not saying you don't need to be sure. If you see something, say something. There's someone who can do something about it. If kids smoking pot in the woods and we want to ignore it, it's a nuisance. But when we see the kind of devastation that we've heard so much tonight portrayed, and the point of those several student vignettes was to demonstrate how easily this connection gets made. This isn't a big story for a Hollywood movie in terms of how it starts. So if I see something, I need to be willing to step up and say something. I also need to become involved in local and regional and state level advocacy. You heard Amy say, we're the only state in the nation that doesn't have this clearly needed and useful program. How does that happen? Because of the leadership of local and regional leaders, we're going to have that service and that safety net piece here. But our voices need to be heard. If it frustrates you to think that We're the only state that doesn't have it, and people are dying in its absence. I'd ask you to inform your representatives, let them hear your voice. Maybe some of the fatigue you might be feeling about, why has this gone on now for 4 years? So we can advocate, we can be a part of the growing chorus of voices. So the call to action is about what we can do in our homes and how we can start to build or rebuild our connections as a community. Greg, when Mark was speaking, there was a triangle slide. At the bottom, there was a quote that I put from this book. And it was taken from an obituary, a 24-year-old guy. They say it takes a community to raise kids. It takes a community to fight addiction. So that's what we need to leave tonight. Whereas working as a community, each of us as individuals, partners, parents, neighbors, colleagues, we're part of that community is fighting addiction. Thank you for listening to me.